First, I want to thank you again for inviting us on the active duty side to this. Obviously, we are, in many cases, for the military folks, the end user. So we don't actually, at ONR, we don't actually produce any of the technology. Our job is to bring it together. You've seen a number of the people, of our performers and people that we're considering to search, fund, bring together the different technology into our final products, and constantly working through. Just a little background: the ONR is split into different departments they call codes. I am currently supporting Code 30, which is there's the one with the longest name, the Expeditionary Maneuver Warfare and Combating Terrorism Science and Technology Department is Code 30. And essentially, in a nutshell, that is mainly Marine and land-based naval forces, what we call brown water Navy, the littoral area, so near shore kinds of technology in Code 30. And as Marines, they call the departments thrust areas, and one of the several thrust areas in Code 30 is the Force Protection Thrust, and it's led by Major Bill Short, who I'm here representing. And under that thrust area, there are 5 different sub-areas, which I won't go over, but the main one that I'm involved with, because of my biomedical background, is the ballistic helmet and body armor sub-thrust. And as far as the modeling, we are working closely with another thrust in Code 30, which is the Human Performance Training and Education, HPT&E thrust on the modeling effort. So sort of bringing all of that together, and sort of funding, looking at boiling down different technologies, and specifically is what we're here for today, modeling and simulation. Sort of 2 different areas that I'm involved with. One has to do with the whole lightening the load thing, developing all the different technology to try to lighten the load. And the other one I'm involved with is the medical interface, looking at that place between the design of the actual personal protection equipment and the body itself. There's a lot of modeling done for, as you've seen, of the equipment. There's some being done on the medical side, but there's still somewhat of a gap in that actually the modeling between the two and what's actually happening when, for instance, you have a back face deformation against the body. What's actually happening there. But not what we're covering today. It's never the same on the screen as it is on here. So I apologize for that. So the assignment we were given was looking at current efforts and direction for future work. Our current efforts here through FY09 through FY11, 2 main categories as far as the simulation. One is a simulation tool for lightening the load of warfighters, and I won't go over. You've seen them several examples here. But the main areas, which we've talked about at length, we're looking at dynamic motion prediction, physiology modeling, and effects of load carriage. And these things we've been spending the last couple of years really looking at the different technologies you've seen here today and yesterday, and really focusing on boiling those down to the events and the technologies that will really help us optimize these features. The other area is the actual personal protection equipment evaluation tool. Other than the lightening the load, this is actually looking at the performance of body armor, hard body armor, soft body armor, and helmet. And so, how they will survive impact, and then again getting into how they perform against the body itself. And again, you've seen a number of that already. Both of those are going to be combining into looking at enhanced tools for optimization of warfighter load, and known as e-tool. And you can see these are the different areas. Some of them are the same, and also building in other areas. Looking at equipment movement simulation. We saw that earlier about looking at how the equipment moves on the body. You know, when the ground soldier is moving along the ground, how that moves, as well as looking at optimizing moving equipment as far as loading and unloading it off of vehicles. Again, the dynamic motion prediction. Environmental simulation. How do different environments? Now we're looking at both hot and high altitude. So we're talking about low oxygen situations, steep terrain situations, so forth. Looking at, I forget who it was that said about we have to take the model outside. We can't just keep it. Was that Jack that mentioned that? Was about we have to put it in the real world situation. So looking at how the environment impacts our models, and putting those in the models to predict how it's going to impact in our case, the Marines. Again, physiology modeling, effects of load carriage. My background is biomechanics, orthopedics, and that's really why I got into this work. After working with the Marines for a year and just understanding what their mission was, I was just amazed at the amount of load that they have to carry and some of the ranges that they have to carry. Same with the spec war guys. It's just amazing. And just trying to look at ways of lightening that load, or at least optimizing the distribution of the load. Squad readiness prediction. That's about looking at how using modeling to look at all the different parts of the different missions and operations, and seeing how we can optimize the readiness of each squad to be able to do those missions, whether it's distributing load or material, those kinds of things, just to make sure that we can, we're continuing looking at being able to optimize their readiness, making sure that with each change of the mission or each change of equipment or so forth, we can make sure that we can model that they are that those things don't negatively impact their ability to carry out their mission. And similarly with resource consumption prediction. Obviously there are issues of logistics and having resources out there. We want to make sure that with the changing threat, the changing environment, the changing mission, etc., that we can accurately predict what the resource consumption is. So all of that comes down to the simple goal. We want to optimize the digital design environment to more rapidly iterate among the different designs and minimize the time, resources, and manpower required for detailed end-user warfighter evaluations. Before, the best way we could make sure that things were appropriate for the warfighter was to put them on the warfighter, put him out in exercise in as close to real-life situations as possible. As you can imagine, especially as Chris was saying, with our rotation schedule and so forth, that's expensive, it's difficult to do, and it puts a significant workload on the troops. Essentially, right now, what we want to do is to use this kind of technology so that we can test it, break it, improve it over and over and over and over again in the digital space, such that it is as close to operational ready as it can be by the time we put it in our case, on our Marines or sailors. And this is sort of the timeline we're working on. So the e-tool is a EC, enabling capability of the future naval capability that involves lightening the load. And our goal is working on that over the next several years through fiscal year 14.